We're live.
Hey everyone.
Hi everyone.
I'm Toby. This is Heidi.
And welcome to the live streaming version of Crypto Tips. Every Monday here at noon Eastern Time, we're coming to give you some crypto news. I'll do that. And Toby, he dabbles in crypto news a little bit, but mostly, what do you like to talk about?
The economy. See what's up.
Yeah.
See what central banks are screwing around doing.
Yeah, what they're best at.
Yeah.
So, hey everyone who is here tuning in. As you join us, I encourage you to say hi in the chat if you'd like to. If you are enjoying these live streams, we appreciate it if you leave a like. And if you could even share out the link to this video while we're going live is also pretty cool. So more people can take part and check it out live. Because what's more exciting than that?
Nothing.
I can't think of anything more exciting than that.
Maybe wearing a mask outside.
Oh, living dangerously.
Yep.
Or not so dangerously, should I say.
We'll see.
Okay, so we're pretty much at 5 o'clock. So noon, 5 o'clock for us. I'm going to go ahead and get into today's topics. Again, as you guys come in, go ahead and feel free to say hi. So the first topic today, BitMEX is finding itself in yet another lawsuit. This one is pretty recent. The plaintiff is BMA LLC, has accused BitMEX's parent arm and operators of engaging in wire frauds, money laundering, and other illicit activities. Really specifically, they're saying, again, fraudulent business dealings, wire frauds, money laundering, illegal fundraising, market manipulation, and whatnot. So
I've been hearing BitMEX for a long time. They always have drama.
Yeah, they're running the gambit there of everything they could be accused of involving.
Pretty much.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
So BitMEX is in trouble again. This isn't the first time they've had a lawsuit. I believe last year someone had brought up a lawsuit against them also, but really what they're saying here is, let me just take a little bit about what they're saying about over-leveraged trades and insider trading. BMA's lawsuit further dwelled into the BitMEX high-leverage trading facilities that allow traders to place bets up to 100 times their original capital. He wrote that the exchange uses BXBT index price for high liquidity derivatives, and that takes prices from 2 or 3 illiquid spot exchanges. The fraudulent system enables manipulation and money launderers to skip detection. Also, he's saying that the accusation served as a reminder to BitMEX. They did admit to insider trading back in April of 2018, so their slate isn't exactly clean. And there's a lot of, conspiracy, or a lot of people talking about the relationship between BitMEX and Tether being their sister company. And it's always...
And don't ever do 100x trading.
Yeah. Not to mention the fees you're going to have to pay for that.
Oh, man.
Let alone,
It's a good way to get wiped
if the
out.
risk wasn't enough for you, the fees will get you.
Oh, man.
But also, BitMEX is also known for being one of those kind of exchanges that suddenly shut down as the Bitcoin price becomes very volatile. And when that happens, the exchange could be pretty selective as to which trades come through and which ones don't. So they could be letting their friends make trades during that time while blocking a lot of other people being able to change their positions, take advantage of the price movements and things like that. According to this article, BitMEX has not responded to them for a comment. So definitely we'll be looking for updates as this progresses. I'd be interested to see what Arthur Hayes has to say about that. Next up.
See what happens in the comments. See if it's...
Anyone
they
there?
can hear you.
56 people. Okay, cool. So if you guys are here, if you can hear us good, go ahead and say hi in the comments so we can get some interaction going. We'd love to say hi to you guys. Anyway, I am going to keep it going in the meantime. Here's a bullish article for you. Andreessen Horowitz report, crypto not as chaotic as it appears. Specifically, they're talking about the fourth crypto cycle The first one having occurred in 2010, second one having occurred in 2013, third one having occurred in 2017, and this fourth one, maybe it'll be in 2021, 2020, who knows? But they're saying that this is a sign of another one forming, and the things that they look for are price appreciation, more action in regards to social media activity, what's this other one? Developer activity and startup activity. So more people are talking about it, more people are searching it out. Developers are actually building things on these different platforms and networks, and new startups are beginning to form to help facilitate the infrastructure for how crypto can interact with people and use crypto as tools. So, these are all increasing, that Andreessen Horowitz is saying that they are increasing. So that's a good sign, and it's definitely an indication of a fourth crypto cycle gearing up. Let's not forget that there's also Bitcoin halving, and so I'm sure that always helps as well. I'm sure there's a lot of people talking about the halving event because it was a much hyped Google Ads words. I'm not going to be talking about it today because I have talked plenty about the halving
I'm going to talk
event.
a little bit about it once we.
Toby hasn't let go of it yet.
My thoughts on where I think this is headed.
Yeah, it's a good perspective to have, seeing, at this very kind of poignant point every 4 years how the environment is different. But we're going to get into that. So here's a quote from there saying, even though crypto cycles look chaotic, over the long term, they've generated steady growth of new ideas, code, projects, and startups, the fundamental drivers of software innovation. Technologists and entrepreneurs will continue to push crypto forward in the coming years, and we are excited to see what they build. And that's the truth. Things don't just magically sprout up in this space. It is done so by people working hard, writing the code, developing, building the businesses that help facilitate it, and then we get to see the fruits of their labor. And it's all taking time, but it's all slowly growing. And I really like that, always the reminder of having a long-term perspective, because if you look at any crypto chart, any day chart of a cryptocurrency, it could give you a heart attack or, but if you just take a step back and zoom out a little bit, you can see where the general trend is going. Another, bullish indication for crypto being that Bitcoin makes appearance on another episode of Showtime's hit series Billions. I have not seen this show, but apparently it's about billionaires. So I believe they talked about Bitcoin in the first, the premiere episode of the season, talking about an illegal Bitcoin mining farm. And then in this next episode, they also talked about it. And this episode was actually written by the same person who wrote the Bitcoin Billionaires book. He wrote that episode, which probably explains why Bitcoin is being mentioned. And it's about a Harvard, from Harvard, I believe, or a student in... The student in the show, he was caught mining Bitcoin using the electricity of his, what is it called when they're... dorm, sorry. Yeah. And he got caught for it. So it's
That's cool.
True.
Kid. Smart kid.
Yeah, for sure. And it's normally when Bitcoin is portrayed in, these movies, mainstream movies, definitely not something that's produced by the crypto crowd when it's outside of that. Typically, Bitcoin is being portrayed as some super illegal thing that Russian terrorists are using to fund kidnappers and things like that as ransom. But it's nice kind of seeing it being portrayed as a young kid being innovative. And
I think Harry Potter was trying to buy Bitcoin as well. Wasn't he?
Are you serious?
No.
But in real life, Stanford University had to warn its dorm residents against using electricity for personal financial gain in 2018. So if that wasn't bullish news, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
New generation people cropping up in institutions like Stanford, and they're still, maybe going against the crowd a little bit and and being a little bit industrious and mining some Bitcoin. Speaking of Harry Potter, some of you may have heard or may not have heard, J.K. Rowling asked Lee Quinn, who's a writer for Cointelegraph, she doesn't understand Bitcoin. So J.K. Rowling asked Lee Quinn to explain it for her. And that just unleashed an ocean of people on crypto Twitter. It was really interesting seeing everyone's...
So funny.
Everyone's elevator
gosh,
speed. What is it? Elevator... I'm having brain farts right now. Toby.
I don't know.
Help me out here. Anyway, everyone's elevator pitch on Bitcoin. Like, if you can explain Bitcoin in one or two sentences, what would it be? And so you had everyone on crypto Twitter, saying why Bitcoin's important, or very simpler, like it's just magic internet money. And
she could have just visited Crypto Tips and
if
skipped
she really
all
knew.
of that drama.
Yeah.
But she decided to...
she wanted to get some more Twitter followers and stir the pot a little bit.
So funny.
But so anyway, I think it's also probably for the good. It has reminded people, whether she was faking it or not, whether she does know about Bitcoin or not, it's a good reminder of like, okay, how would I explain Bitcoin to someone that is like, important in my life? I don't know if J.K. Rowling is important to you or not, but it's a good reminder of, how would you explain it? What are the key points that are most important to you or that you think will prove most valuable in the long term? So I think it's always a good idea to have a healthy grasp on that, to be able to talk about it to anyone. But so anyway, here there's a link to Cointelegraph.
Really quickly, I think like this shows right here that Bitcoin is selling itself. It's not using much of, say, crypto Twitter or whatever to teach the entire world about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is teaching people about Bitcoin. Like it has all the characteristics of something amazing, so like borderless, permissionless. Who doesn't want that? So like people are like really serious on, oh my gosh, we can't lose her or whatever. Who cares? It's just a fiction writer. Who cares? She probably doesn't know much about finances as well, even though she's a billionaire. So what? A lot of billionaires don't know much about finances. Look at the newest billionaire kid that runs a Chinese pharmaceutical company. His father runs it and was given $3.8 billion just for the heck of it. He probably doesn't know anything about money. He's a little kid. So it doesn't matter. So Bitcoin is going to sell itself. You guys just need to, stay steady and worry about yourself. You guys are going to do great. And so bring in the channels like this and we'll teach them how to actually, do stuff like privacy and like what to look for in a good coin and we're not scammers and Heidi's not promoting a bunch of crap. So anyways.
Okay, so the live chat finally kicked in. For some reason it wasn't loading all of you guys' messages for me. So I just want to say hi to everyone real quick.
What's up, guy?
Bill, Noe, Blockchain First, Sander, Garrett, Sergio, hi again. Bill Franger.
Hi.
Someone's really eager to say hi.
Oh my gosh, Carlos.
Yeah, South Africa, hey Che.
Robin.
Loud and clear. Cool. Okay. Jan. Hi, Jan. Good to see you here.
Dave.
Dave D.
Grant. Oh my gosh, the live stream just caught up. So.
Yeah. So Mark Wesley, Billions was brilliant. I guess I'll have to try and check that out. Maybe on Popcorn Time has
For sure, yeah. The more that this happens, like the more that it'll shows on big networks like this, the better, So, like I said, it's going to sell itself.
But I had the same reaction what you were saying of like, who cares if she gets it or not? Because exactly, she's obviously not in a position where she's too concerned about knowing it. So she is absolutely living in the luxury
and she's not a hedge fund manager
of being able to say, oh, what's Bitcoin? And not only not knowing about it, but after it's definitely gotten quite a lot of attention the past few years. But let's see, after I believe, Vitalik Buterin and Elon Musk both reached out to her to explain it. I do like the way, but okay, so here's her response, which didn't inspire any warm feelings from me, but she said, people are now explaining Bitcoin to me, and honestly, it's blah, blah, blah collectibles, My Little Pony, blah, blah, blah. A massive currency issuance by government central banks is making Bitcoin internet ghost money look solid by comparison. This will pour in when they need to know what Bitcoin is, when it's not a luxury anymore. And at that point, you know, Bitcoin's been going, and this whole crypto space has been really forming for the past like 7 years. Like Bitcoin's been around since 10, but like it's really started kicking in for like 7 years now. And the infrastructure is only going to continue to grow, and more people are going to become more comfortable with it. Information is aplenty. So it's just going to keep building on its success, and it's not going anywhere. So yeah. Anyway, J.K. Rowling, she's going to come around sometime. She just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, it'll probably be at 100,000.
Yeah. And she'll be like, dang. Wait, what's Bitcoin about again?
She's not going to care.
Yeah. Okay, so now probably morphing a little bit into Toby's territory here, but talking about Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, what he was saying about, you know, the measures that they're taking to address this economic crisis, and when he thinks it's going to be coming back around. But anyway, so, you know, he obviously didn't have a whole lot of good things to say. And so what was funny, I read today about this interview, saw Bitcoin surge 2%. Like, okay, come on. Crypto surging 2%, that's a sneeze. That's not anything to report.
Yeah, exactly.
About. But it is just, nowadays, there's reminders all over the place of why Bitcoin can be very valuable and should be valued by those who are holding it, and is absolutely a hedge against this QE that we're seeing and the inevitable inflation that will hit more apparently so, and more immediately, because again, with all these government, you know, all these checks that people are being handed to, it is getting injected directly into the economy instantly. So
so a lot of the currency printing that's happening right now isn't actually being directed right into the economy. It's being held, and being thrown into stocks and whatever. But as soon as that cash gets into the economy, expect huge inflation. But yeah, so can you play that one?
I'll try to play it, but whenever I do it, it kind of gets slowed down, but I'll try it.
Slow it down. It is so good.
It is good. And he actually gave I'm always trying to explain negative interest rates, and this video kind of inspired like a really easy explanation for me, is that negative interest rates means everything is opposite that you're used to with banking. So instead of earning interest on what you're holding in the bank, you're paying the bank. And when banks are lending out money, they're paying you to take out a loan instead of you paying interest on the loan. So it just flips everything on the head. And, you know, it's interesting because this interviewer is like, well, he's speaking like, well, obviously negative interest rates is a good thing, because who wouldn't want to get paid to take out a loan? My man, you don't know what happens when interest rates go negative. Okay, here, let me see if I can get this. I don't think
it's going to work.
We'll try it. We'll see how it goes. Oh.
You and the committee lowered interest rates essentially to zero. Would you lower them further into negative territory, which the president has suggested is a good idea?
Around this table during the last crisis and during the recovery, we looked at negative interest rates, and it's something we decided often referred to. I continue to think, and my colleagues on the Federal Open Market Committee continue to think, that negative interest rates is probably not an appropriate or useful policy for us here in the United States.
And why not? The president seems to think it would help.
The evidence on whether it helps is quite mixed. The issue is people would be depositing money in the bank, and that money would be shrinking. They'd be paying interest to put their money in the bank. So it's not a particularly popular policy, as you can imagine. But in addition, it can also tend to depress the profitability of banks, which makes them likely to lend less.
Anyway, the link to this is down below in the video description, so you guys can watch that video. It's like 2 minutes long. But it's also funny because this interviewer is saying, well, the president thinks negative interest rates is a good idea. And I just keep thinking, is the president an economist? Is he a successful economist? Is he a Keynesian economist?
But the president doesn't have a say on what the Federal Reserve does. Doesn't.
Yeah, but he
the
can
Federal
tweet about
Reserve
it.
are unelected people. You know, so that it's not like a president where they think they're elected, whatever. So, yeah, they're run by 6 banks. So, those 6 banks, those 6 families are going to be the ones that make the rules that produce the money supply. I think Rothschild once said, "I care not who makes the laws, just give me control of the currency supply." So there's a reason for that. Is because you can control the currency, nothing else matters. And, you know, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So.
And just, I wanted to do this, show this article really quick, because oftentimes when something like this, there's many different articles pretty much saying the same things. But this one shows to end it. So they're talking all about the economic crisis, all these serious measures that will be impacting millions of people around the world, their livelihoods, and they choose to end the interview or end this article by saying, let me make sure you guys can see it. When asked if he would like to see, he's asking again, Jerome Powell, if he would like to see the Washington Capitals defend their Stanley Cup championship, Powell's response was that the fans should expect games, but certainly no sooner than next year.
Bread and circuits, baby.
Why are people so eager to talk about something as stupid as the Stanley Cup championship when compared to something as heavy as this whole topic was that they were talking about? It blows my mind. It really does. Like, I hope that, I mean, I can only imagine he would roll his eyes at a question like that. I certainly hope that he would, but
yeah.
Anyway.
But he was, Powell loves questions like this because it takes the heat off of him.
That's very true.
Get me on there. I'd love to ask him a couple questions.
Okay, so moving on to Toby's neck of the woods.
All right, so
we're going to get it going.
The Bitcoin halving, I told you I was going to bring this up. So I can't really see.
Oh, sorry.
The Bitcoin halving is very different. This one is. Last halving, there were around 3 million registered users on Coinbase, and now there are over 30. So this just kind of gives you a perspective of where we are now compared to the last halving. And, same amount of coins pretty much, that we have, a couple million off, whatever. And people are still losing coins to this day. And, Bitcoin is going to be freaking huge.
But I love what he points out, that not every Coinbase user can have 1 Bitcoin, and that's just one exchange. It's so true. And it's also, the reminder that you don't have to buy an entire Bitcoin. Bitcoin is divisible by like 1 million. So
way more than that.
It's like 8 decimals. Yeah. So you can,
huge.
Yeah, you can definitely not have to invest in an entire Bitcoin. And at some point, you're not going to be able to invest in a whole Bitcoin at some point. I mean, well,
yeah, I don't think there's not enough millionaires in the world to even buy 1 Bitcoin. So, and then not only that, but you have, before you didn't have Stanley or what was it? Paul Tudor Jones going on national TV and going, okay, yeah, I put 1 to 2% of my portfolio into Bitcoin. So like I'm going to go over this again. I don't think you guys, I hope you guys understand this, but the implications of that, like these billionaire hedge fund guys, they don't just go on, they don't just invest their money into things and not really understand it. They go full on board. They understand Bitcoin. That's why they're putting 1 to 2% of their wealth in there. They wouldn't have done that if they didn't understand this. So
at the very, maybe they don't, maybe they do, but even if they don't understand the technological aspects of it, like how the code works and how the mining algorithms are, they understand the concepts about it that set it apart from the fiat system.
Yeah. So, I mean, the last bull run went from 700 to 20K pretty much. Like this one, I used to think, like, I'll go out and state this. I used to think that that when I hear $1 million Bitcoin or whatever, I was like, oh, that's crazy. They're nuts, whatever.
It's too many moons.
Yeah, but now that I study this more and more and more, I can definitely see $1 million Bitcoin within, I don't know, the decade or whatever, just because I don't see how it wouldn't, because of all the interest. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. People are going to fall in love with it. So really quickly before I go to the next one, like even miners like in China, the reason why a lot of them are mining is to get around capital controls so that they can get the Bitcoin. You know, that's how they get their money out of the country. So anyways.
Yeah.
Back to this. Okay. I'm not even going to, I don't even care about the DAO because it's all fake. So, but I want to go right underneath.
I'm going to do a visual representation of
against it. Okay. Stocks are not the economy.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. It's very deceptive here.
And if you don't believe that, look around you and see how many businesses are closing.
Yeah.
See how many people are unemployed.
So even as unemployment could rise to 25%. Well, I got news for you. Unemployment is over 25% right now. Yeah. Well over it. It's well into the 30s, possibly the 40s right now. So I'm just saying this right now. Like everything they say is very planned and meticulous. And
well, yeah, I mean, and in that interview that we try to play, he was talking about how they're making purchases of treasury and mortgage securities. So
they're going to nationalize everything.
That's where it's coming from, by the way. It's not from the super healthy economy.
Yeah, definitely not. So, okay.
Hold on, that'll pop up in a second. Sorry.
Okay, Dave Rosenberg. Open Table says 25% of U.S. restaurants, this is just U.S., won't survive. That's 3 million jobs lost permanently, closer to 10 when you include all sectors affected. So, you know, when you hear Jerome Powell say, oh, there could be 25%, man, he has no idea. Or he does. He knows exactly what's happening, but, like, he's not going to tell you, like, how many people will possibly be unemployed after this. It's going to be horrific, and things don't come back from the grave like in a couple of years. But we'll keep going into these other articles. Okay, so I'm not going to say the V word, but I'll go over it anyways. Powell says a full economic recovery may not happen without
a bleep.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly.
Bleep you out.
So. There's not going to be a full economic recovery. Doesn't happen. It's not going to happen like that, especially with what is happening with UBI, universal basic income, and what we are going to show you down the Fauci. I don't know if I can actually say his name. Tells Congress there's no guarantee the V is actually going to be effective. Okay, so it's going to be effective to make the economy better. That's what Powell says. But, you know, this is just, it's kind of weird that the Federal Reserve is actually saying the V word now. It makes you wonder why they
need people to hang on to hope?
No, I think it's bigger than that. But I'm not going to get too much into that. You guys kind of jump down the rabbit hole on this one, but why are so many people, so many high up people, you know, on the V wagon? Makes me wonder. That sounds horrible, but I mean, it's better than getting
to get out of the gutter. Sorry.
Yeah, it's better than being flagged every time you say that. Yeah. So just question that. That's all I ask of you guys.
John says Toby analysis is great, which I agree. So thanks, John, for that acknowledgement. Also, Someone said, honestly, Warp Speed said, honestly, there were kind of too many restaurants in my town. Some had to go anyway. And that reminded me of an audiobook that I'm actually listening to right now called Economics in One Lesson. It's really highly recommended. Actually, let me look right here and see who the author is. Because I
really
forget
good book.
Off the top of my head.
Audiobook.
It's on Audible.
It's on
by
paperback, probably.
Henry Hazlitt. So it's a really good audiobook for those of you who are looking into trying to better understand how economies work, how things affect it. So really interesting, and it's an audiobook. So for those of you who are busy driving to work or not, maybe you're doing something around
it's
the
a
house.
pretty intense book.
It's it's not really over your head. I don't think so. Well, anyway.
I mean, for driving.
Check it out.
For driving. I kind of need to sit there and think, okay, this is okay.
Well, put it on speakerphone and have your whole family listen in and absorb some of that information.
It's a great book. If you can understand it, it's fantastic. And you'll know more than any PhD Harvard guy.
Okay, so back to this now.
Okay.
Sorry, little.
Sure. Okay,
Here
so
we go again with the word.
So this said, okay, I've always told people throughout history that every single time the military and the police do turn on its citizens, as Mark Twain once said, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So Trump says he's mobilizing military. He's the commander in chief in the military to distribute potential. You have to kind of see where this is headed. This is this is a really dark road that you're headed right now, America. Like, it's
I'm sure
really
there's
bad.
other ways that they could develop to, distribute a vaccine that doesn't involve the military.
Getting the military involved, man.
Did you say VMD yet?
Yeah, VMDs. Watch out.
They
You
need
can
the
kind of
military
understand
they're
that.
distributing VMDs. So
Yeah.
if you guys know, maybe you can figure out what we're saying there.
Okay, so anybody that likes to travel, this is kind of interesting. Future air travel, 4-hour process, self-check-in, disinfection, immunity passes. So, yeah, like right now there's, Emirates. They are taking your blood right before you hop on a flight to test for the thing. And so now airports are kind of deciding where to go with this. And so right now, they're self-check-in is going to be obviously all the time now. They'll have disinfectant tunnels, so they'll spray you.
So you can just, do your twirls in the antiseptic and take a nice deep breath of Lysol and really improve your life.
Yeah, immunity passes, whatever that means. I mean, whether that's microchip or whatever. So, you're gonna have to show that you got the jab.
And then you go through all that. You're forced to stay separate, and then you
sit on a plane
right next to someone
pretty
else
close
on the airplane for a very long, extended period of time in a very confined space. Tell me the logic in that.
And go to the next one, and I'll tell you how airlines feel about this. So, Ryanair, that's a European airline, to cut 3,000 jobs. CEO O'Leary slams idiotic quarantine periods. Now, this guy's a smart guy.
For a couple different reasons.
Yeah, like he understands what's about to happen. He understands that not as many people are going to be able to fly because they're not going to have a job. Secondly, he understands that with all the regulations and stuff that, it's going to cut down on the ability for massive amounts of people to travel, at least in the short term, even on the short to medium term. So he's actually not going to accept a government bailout right now. So he's actually trying to do this himself. He's laying people off right now, which he has to. He has to. It's not his fault. And Yeah, he's going to do it without a bailout.
He's probably sharp enough to be able to
Yeah.
manage it without
Yeah.
a bailout.
So like the
Or at
CEOs,
least confident in his skills, you know. He
Yeah.
knows he has some skills.
yeah, he's definitely got more skills than the CEO of American Airlines, Delta Airlines, you know, all these pathetic CEOs over there that are begging for a bailout. They're just pathetic chumps, you know. They don't know how to run a business for the life of them. So with that said, let those punks fail. Seriously, you need to let businesses fail. American Airlines, take a hike. Delta, take a hike. You know, all these businesses.
If they were so bad along anyway.
The free market will come
Yeah.
in and fill the void
Yeah.
literally immediately. And you'll have better airlines, better service, cheaper prices, and I mean, it would be glorious if they did that. And you're not going to have this sucking sound of government cash being thrown around and just, I mean, they're just going to use up cash. If there's no skin in the game anymore for any airline or even any business that can't fail, like, these companies are going to suck. I would never want to fly on these companies. I want to fly on companies that have a free market attitude. So, yeah.
Now, here's probably government idea of trying to provide jobs outside of the free market.
Oh, can I say something really quick? And,
No.
Yeah. So the people, I'm not trying to be a jerk here with like saying I'll let them go, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
you might be thinking, well, a lot of people are going to be let go of their jobs. Well, not necessarily.
They're going to be
There's
let go
gonna be
from a
some.
job that was probably ending anyway.
Yes, but there's also going to, you'll have the free market come in and they'll have a better job, most likely. And, you know, those people aren't going to not have a job. They're still going to have a job. And yeah, their job environment would probably be better. They'll probably get paid more. That's free market for you.
Yeah.
So, okay. For those that lost their jobs, now you can be a snitch.
And if you really don't care about your neighbors at all,
Yeah. Go ahead and
this
be a
might be the job
Stasi.
for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, people made fun of me like, yeah, you're comparing similarities to Nazis during this time. I'm like, look at this. Look what's happening. I mean, 6 million Germans didn't wake up one day and go, oh, you know what? I think we're going to kill a bunch of Jews. That didn't happen overnight. Hey, come on, guys. Didn't happen overnight. It happened slowly.
Because the government provided the narrative that justified it.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
People trust in their government too much.
that's one thing I really am disliking about how things are developing. Especially, I hate hearing when news outlets or when like police or whatever, they're encouraging people to rat people out who are walking around breaking quarantine, and it's just like encouraging distrust and not a very good sense of strong community for people, and it's just creating a larger divide that is going to be the distraction from the actual issues that you should be paying attention to. And it's a shame that some people are falling into it, but I really hope, you know, that people value the relationship with their neighbors and actually being able to relate and be empathetic and understand their side of it rather than just running and telling on them and you know what like anyway, I don't want to get too much into that, but it's a shame seeing people becoming more divided and being encouraged to do so by those who are in charge. It's not a good look. Lastly,
this is the new norm, guys. Uber will require everyone to wear a mask starting Monday, today, and use AI to enforce the rules. So, you know, this is similar to contact tracers. This is similar to the dog that walks around the parks in Singapore telling people to stay away from each other. Yeah, I mean, guys, this is like your time to fight back. Like, share videos like this and really fight back hardcore, because like things will change for the worse. You're not going to want to bring a kid in the world where everyone's like staying away from each other. Everybody's having to wear a mask. Everybody can't have intimacy, you know, like what the heck? Nobody wants to live in a world like that. Like, seriously, fight back. Like, and you know, we're seeing things, I'll end it with this. And it's really bugged me when I see videos of police tearing away their moms and dads from their
like
from their
infants.
children's. And yeah, and those kids screaming, the kids are going to be scarred from this stuff. And if you I'm telling you right now, if you see somebody doing that to a kid, if you see I don't care if it's a police officer, military, whatever, you fight for them. You fight for those people. Like I'll go to jail before I go down and just sit down and not do anything. Freaking, I'll go at them. You know what I mean? So that's just me, like we need people to fight. We can't have like 40 people sitting around watching these kids being taken away from their parents. So we need to fight. So anyways.
Okay. You've said that like 5 times. Sorry.
All
Not
right.
to incite too much violence.
All right.
But getting a little riled up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Let's answer some of the questions here.
It's not too many questions.
Okay.
So if it's good conditions, Toby and I will be going out tomorrow, and I've gone live before from Nazare. It's definitely not going to be any big waves, but we'll be towing around, and it might be fun. I'll either go live or I'll record something and maybe edit it together or something. But
It should be fun.
yeah. So anyway, I am going to be posting another video here and soon. I've got a Facebook group that I recently created, so you guys want to join that. Shillers need not join. I just want to be really good conversations about things that we are interested in crypto.
And we're going to be putting up our class today, the next class that we're going to be doing.
The next class for my Patreon members of the CT Club. You guys can join that by going to patreon.com/cryptotips. You can get information about our things that like the trade moves that we make. Been kind of frequently recently. Also, you'll have access to free classes that are exclusive only to the CT members there on my Patreon. We've done cryptocurrency wallets. We've done how to stake your coins, which coins I stake, how I do it, and why. And next up will be all about privacy online and within this cryptocurrency space. So that's coming up to you probably in a couple weeks, 3 weeks or so. I have to get it put together, and then it'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Warp speed. That is definitely Toby's
What do you say?
Toby gonna ride COVID mess out like a big wave. You guys are so chill. Yeah, we try.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for today's live stream. I certainly appreciate all of you who are in the live chat who have said hi, hello.
And I'm glad
to you guys.
it's not too slow for you guys this time.
Yeah, I'm managing. I'm doing little tweaks to
Good.
figure out what makes my computer super slow. But anyway, that's going
Thanks,
to wrap
guys.
it up for today. Seeing you guys again next Monday for another live stream. But until then, hope you guys are staying happy and healthy. See you soon.
Yeah.